Hello and welcome to the ISRK Podcast. I'm your host, Kumar Vikrant. I'm a doctoral candidate at the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, Hanyang University, Seoul. ISRK, that is Indian Students and Researchers in Korea, is a voluntary support group that works towards the benefit of the Indian diaspora in Korea. So, on today's episode, I have the pleasure to be in conversation with Mr. Arpit Bhardwaj. Arpit is a PhD student at the Georgia Institute of Technology, United States of America. For the benefit of our viewers, I would like to let them know that I've known Arpit from my undergraduate days back at IIT BNCU Varanasi. Arpit was in the civil engineering department, whereas I was in the chemical engineering. So, Arpit, thank you very much for joining us today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's really nice to reconnect with you after so many years, and it's good to see you.
Same here.
Yes.
Yes.
So begin our podcast. So you have been involved in um, top research groups and extraordinary universities throughout the world. For example, Indian Institute of Science, IIT, as well as North Carolina State University in Munich, and right now in Georgia Tech. So how has your experience been so far? And how can you contrast between the research temperament between these places? I know it's like too broad a question. It may be difficult to generalize, but can you pinpoint what differences you saw and how has your experience been like?
Yes. Thank you for introducing me.
Hmm.
So, all the institutes that you named,
Yeah.
actually, they were kind of stepping stone for the next one.
Hmm.
Like I started, actually, the Indian Institute of Science, I was not able to join it. I
All right.
got the fellowship, but the DAAD, the um,
That wise.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
that wise internship happened the same year, so I chose that.
Mhm.
But it's like all of them are connected. I started with IIT Patna in second year. Then after
Ah, I
that,
see.
I used that as an experience and then applied for a
Mhm.
DART-wise program.
Mhm.
Then after that, I used these experience and couple of paper published. I
Uh-huh.
used them for my internship in North Carolina, and I clubbed all of them. And as I had all these experiences, it was easy to get a PhD offer.
Mhm.
So yes, so all of them were really unique experience.
Mhm.
Like to just pinpoint a few, like
Mhm.
in Germany
Yeah.
overall, or at least the feedbacks that I heard from other people who also did the program was one professor has like a really big group, like 50,
Mm.
60 people under them.
Oh,
And
wow.
we usually never even meet the main professor,
Mm.
maybe in once in 3 weeks or a month.
Mhm.
But we always work with someone lower him, like maybe postdocs or
Or
other
research assistants or yeah.
yes, or like senior
Mhm. PhD
PhD
candidates
students.
and yeah.
Yes. So at least, so I was an intern, so I was actually working with a postdoc and another PhD student.
Mhm.
But what I saw was usually uh, the group is, so the hierarchy is very clear,
Mhm.
and we kind of follow the hierarchy in
Ah.
Germany. But but in US, it's definitely not like that.
Mhm.
In US, what I noticed that everyone kind of meets, like you can meet anyone at any time.
Mm.
It depends on the group, like you can have weekly meetings,
Yeah, yeah.
bi-weekly meetings, but usually if you want to meet your advisor, or
Mhm.
if you want to take help, if most of the time, if you want to meet your advisor, it's only for brainstorming sessions,
Mhm.
or maybe if you're stuck at a
Research planning and things like that.
yes, exactly.
Mm.
But if you need to solve a problem
Mhm.
that can be done with the help of other lab
Yeah.
members, you don't even go to your advisor, or if you go there, he'll just probably redirect you to other person.
Yeah.
So because they are really busy, they have to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's actually better. So there is kind of a different kind of a teamwork here
Mm.
compared to Germany. And in India, I don't think we have really big groups. Like even in
Yes, yes.
BHU, I
Mm,
worked under two different professors, and I don't think we have that group culture there.
mhm,
It's
mhm.
usually one-on-one with professor meetings, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
my experience has also been like that. In
okay,
India, it was more like a more concentrated group, but here or in other places, it's like an elaborated group with lots of collaborations as well. But
yes, yes,
but you also get the opportunity to grow on your own and interact with other people as well. Mm.
yes,
Yeah, anyway, so thanks for your explanation and uh, expounding on the your research experience. So building upon that, I wanted to know why did you choose research as your career path? What is your motivation for doing PhD? For example, we both know that graduating from an IIT, like we both graduated from IIT BHU, so we could have landed a decent paying job, right? Right after graduation by sitting in campus placement. So why did you decide to pursue research? I want to know.
so so this may come surprise
Hmm.
to many of the listeners,
Yeah.
but my friends knew these things when I was in undergrad.
Hmm.
So in my first year, I didn't even know
Hmm.
about all the job opportunities. Mostly I was kind of concentrated on changing my branch because CS was cool and I wanted to get into CS, but
Yes.
unfortunately my rank was not that good or GPA was not that good, so I
Mhm.
had to be in civil. But then I wanted to make the most of the opportunity, get the best thing in civil, and my parents actually wanted me to write UPSC. So
Ah,
the people who don't know UPSC, it's
yeah,
like so it's a civil services exam.
yeah,
UPSC is an organization which conducts civil services exam, and you can go
yeah.
and
Basically, you go into the
yes,
Indian Administrative Services, right?
and other services like Indian Police
Yeah,
Services,
police.
Revenue
Yeah.
Foreign Services. So all these administrative jobs. So
Hmm.
my parents wanted that, and during my second year, so there was this coaching institute which had Saturday and Sunday online study sessions.
Yeah,
Like it was
for
in
this UPSC exam, right?
yes, yes. So
Ah,
in Varanasi, so I used to go there on Saturday, Sunday, and attend the live online classes.
mhm.
So I did this for whole second year,
Ah,
and I kind of realized after that that okay, it is interesting. It sounds good, but
mhm.
I don't think I am meant to be that
Meant to
because
pursue that path.
yes. So I kind of checked one box out that okay,
Mhm.
this is not for me. I need to try something else.
Yes.
Then at the end of also I applied for the IAC Indian Academy of Science
Mhm,
scholarship. I
mhm,
was not able to get that year,
mm.
so I went on to do internship at IIT Patna that year, and I like that the research that we were doing. I like it. It was not very what do you say, the things that we do now as a
Yeah,
PhD student.
it was not that cutting edge, but it was
Yes,
something. Yeah.
it basically I just learned how to use MATLAB and
Mm.
run a few make few plots and write a little
Simulation
bit code.
softwares and
Just MATLAB and a
ah,
little bit of Python
mm,
and maybe LaTeX
mm,
to write a project report, nothing else.
mm,
But these things uh, sounded really good, and
mm.
I wanted to give them a chance. So in third year I was not very sure because my CGPA was not that high to get into Bhardwaj. So
Hey, but
I
but you have very high pointers, like
so
9.4.
it actually increased after what do you say second year. So till
Ah,
second
I
year
see.
it
Mm.
was okay. So it was still high, but compared to all the previous year
Mm. Top
students that
rankers.
got yes. So my CGPA was, I think it was around 9.18, and
Mhm.
I was like the last one, like with the lowest GPA to get that wise. So I
Ah,
was really lucky, but so I was not very sure about getting that. I was kind of applying to other places too.
mm,
So when I went to Germany, that was actually a turning point. So
mm,
it was the work culture was really good. I did both the parts. I actually even did experimental
mm,
work, and after that I did analysis. I
mhm,
used a lot of simulation softwares. I was also uh, part of a research publication,
mm,
and it was a really productive 2.5 months.
Mm.
So when I came back from there, I was very sure of continuing on this path.
Pursuing research.
Yes,
Yeah.
my parents still were not sure that whether
Mm.
I should go outside, because they wanted me to stay in this country.
Uh,
So it's like I'll be gone for 5 years, so
yeah.
it's difficult. So also they were not sure whether I'll be able to live
In
on
the
my own
US
for like
or
5 years.
other places.
Anyway, so yes, so this Germany internship was kind of good thing for me, because they saw me survive 2.5 years in a
Hmm.
distant place, so they were like, okay, you can go now. So, so it was good, but after that, and then when I came to US, it was a different work culture, but I actually saw a lot of PhD. So in Germany, I was working in a university whose English translation is Bundeswehr University, which actually means it's a military university.
Oh,
So
it's in
only for,
Munich, right?
yes,
Mm.
so only for the German military people who want to pursue engineering, or they had other
Mhm.
courses also, but it was mainly for only for the military people.
So
So
basically,
I
army sponsored research.
yes, so I was not able to connect with those people, because
Mhm.
they were around 30, 35.
Ah, I
They
see.
they were just they just wanted to do something new.
Mm.
But when I came to US, I was working with other PhD students, postdocs, so I saw what I'll be getting into if I get a PhD in US.
Yeah.
And then I applied to all these colleges. I got offers from like 3 universities,
Mhm.
and yeah, Georgia Tech, I
So
accepted.
basically, research called you in, and it was like you have to pursue this. There's meaning in that for you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's the
So
same for me. So yeah.
so did you sit in any campus placement interview or anything, any
Yeah,
examination?
it's funny because I actually did not even fill in the form for the
Okay.
placements, and now nowadays, a few juniors contact me on LinkedIn and they say that, oh, you did not fill in the form. How did you do it? Because they feel lots of pressure. Because
Yes.
in particularly in IITs, there's a lots of pressure, particularly in your third year and fourth year, to fill in the form and sit in the placements and everything. So yeah, so my recommendation would be like if you have a feeling from your inside that research is the path for you, I think one should go ahead because we have to pursue what's meaningful in our lives instead of being what's expedient. Anyway,
Yes.
so yeah, so let's move ahead. And would you give any recommendations to our listeners who want to apply for high-end research scholarships or internships like the Bhardwaj for Germany or a North Carolina Rise Fellowship and others? What is your recommendation to your juniors?
So my main recommendation will be there are a lot of internship opportunities
Mhm.
for for some selected universities,
Mhm.
but people from other universities, they kind of assume that they are not in that elite engineering college
Yes.
group,
Yeah, yeah.
so they just leave that. But
Mhm.
if you actually go and check, I'm not 100% sure how many colleges, but I definitely am sure that in Dardwise they were all IITs, NITs,
Mhm.
and a few private colleges also.
Mhm.
Plus, there were other colleges like triple ITs and other colleges which
Mhm.
were eligible to apply. But a
Mhm.
lot of people who contacted me on LinkedIn and all, they didn't even know that their college was
Eligible
eligible
for it. Yeah.
eligible for those
Mm.
internships. So they should definitely check that out. That
Mhm.
if they so they should first make all the they should make the list of all the internships that are available,
Mhm.
and whether they are eligible for it or not. And the main thing is they should start early. So
Mhm.
the main advantage for me over other people, so actually in my third year when I was applying for the advice,
Mhm.
I was not able to apply for my text scholarship. So my
The
text is
Canada
also,
one.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So we had a confusion actually, but on their website it's kind of clearly mentioned that you
Mm-hmm.
can only apply, so the dual degree people,
Mm-hmm.
so the ones with 5 year BTech
Yeah,
plus
yeah.
MTech program, they can only apply in their fourth year,
Mm,
and the BTech people can apply in third year.
yeah.
So, but that was open to both.
Mm,
So we could even apply in third year and fourth year.
that's
So,
nice. Yeah.
my tech's deadline was earlier, the arts deadline was later.
Mhm,
And as I was sure that okay, I don't need to apply to my techs, I concentrated all my energy to that. I tried to
mhm.
contact professor, and a lot of my BTech classmates, they were kind of concentrated on my techs. They did not um focus on
Perhaps
Dart as well.
because they wanted to go to Canada, perhaps because of English, or
I don't think that it was just because that deadline was earlier
oh,
for
I
my
see.
text and Dart's deadline was later. So they wanted to finish it first, then apply for Dart. So that was
Mm,
kind of edge for me because I started out really early, like in September and till October. I'm not sure, but I think the deadline for all these programs are around late October or maximum something around that point.
mhm.
And I started really early, like our semester started around July end, so I started just after that, and around August I got my invitation letter and
Mm.
I filled out the form.
So
So
basically,
yes,
one should not doubt themselves and try to like
yes,
apply for all of it. Whether you get it
yes.
or not, it's a different story.
Also, there are some internships which accept they accept late applications, like
Ah,
Charpak scholarship of France. They end
yeah.
like they end in March, I guess. I'm not
Mm,
sure, but it is definitely after February. And there are other, like the North Carolina internship. I applied it around in March, so
mm,
most of them have a very different deadlines. So they should, the students who actually want to pursue internship, they should make a list one
yeah,
year
make a
ahead.
list. Yeah.
Most, yes, mostly in their second year, so that they don't have to panic of applying. Like if they find out there's deadline next week, they have to do somehow, and that will be a very bad application. So they should plan ahead,
Yeah.
and they should know that whether they are eligible or not.
Mm,
That is the main thing. Otherwise they should, so if they are also, by planning ahead I mean, like they, if they are planning to do internship after the end of third year, they
mhm.
should have something to show as work experience, mostly
Yeah.
research experience. So they should do something in the summer of second year, so that the committee who is reviewing your application, they'll know that okay, you are at least interested in research because you have done something, or they
Mhm.
have to show somehow that they are interested. Otherwise nobody is going to gamble on you if you don't show any interest.
Yeah, basically, we have to be able to show our acumen so that the person
Yes,
sitting on the other side of the desk is able to like select your application above others. Hmm. Oh, thanks for sharing good points, like great insight. So I know that you have been a part of the Indian Music Club in IIT, right? So you play tabla and music is an important part of your life. So how important is it to have other interests beyond your beyond your immediate research work or any like corporate work? How important is it to have such diverse interests?
so actually about the Indian Music Club, I actually was not very
Active
frequent
participant.
active.
Hmm.
So I just went in the first year, and
Ah, I
I
see.
so I was not I did not participate in much of the programs, but I learned tabla till my, so uh,
Mm,
I did my tabla. So there is this certification from Prayag Sangeet Samiti.
mhm.
I did the sixth year of tabla courses from that
Ah, I see.
university in Allahabad.
Hmm.
So um, I tried to go into Indian Music Club as a
Hmm.
tabla player,
Hmm.
but yeah, something I
It
was
didn't
like
work
in,
out as you
yeah,
had
in first
expected.
year I was like totally stressed out on
Mm,
other stuff, and I didn't want to go there. But yes, we should have like other co-curricular activities
mhm.
going on. Like here I usually go out and run. Like last month I was able to run 10K, and before
Wow.
that I started with 5K. Also I usually go to campus recreational center to do swimming, also play racquetball. So some kind of sports and also music. is also there.
Yes.
So we should have some extracurricular activities like that. Otherwise,
It also
we
keeps you in
just
shape, right? It keeps you healthy. Yeah.
yes, that is definitely there. But otherwise, we just burn out of
Yeah,
working. So yeah, that
that's right.
is the
Mhm.
especially as a PhD student when you are doing research
Mhm.
kind of
It can
thinking.
be quite stressful, I understand.
Yes, so it's good to do some extra activities. Yes.
Thanks for sharing.
So
So,
do you?
mhm,
I just wanted to ask, like, do you also? So I have seen a lot of your blog posts
mhm,
and articles in Korea Times. Uh, so apart from writing
mhm.
blog posts, do you have any other hobbies which are really good? But I just wanted to ask, like, any other hobbies apart from that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, beyond research, my interest is in philosophy, and so I read lots of books, and I also have a book recommendation page on my website, so people can check it out. And other than that, I like reading and writing, so I write very actively. And from the physical aspect of it, I work out every morning for about 50 minutes to keep myself in shape and healthy. And yeah, and outdoors, I don't do lots of outdoor activities because that does not interest me much. So I do exercises to keep me in shape. And other than that, I like visiting places and enjoying the scenery. So yeah, I don't like
That is good.
running because I have a flat foot. I don't know whether you know it or
Oh,
not, but
yeah, I know. Yes.
mm, so I have a flat foot. It's pretty flat. So running is not my strong suit because I get leg
Okay.
pain. So
Okay.
yeah, so I don't do running. But other than that, I do recreational activities. Anyways,
Good.
thanks for
Yes.
so let's move ahead. And how
Yes.
did you end up doing computational chemistry? Your research is on computational chemistry, right?
Yes.
Density functional theory based research. So how did you end up doing that after completing your civil and structural engineering undergrad studies? And how did you end up in your current lab? And if you are open to sharing, can you share about the scholarships available at Georgia Tech? And yeah.
So about my background, most of my work was not exactly civil engineering. They were based on materials and
Mhm.
mostly mechanics of materials. So how
I
they
see.
behave, how the physical application, how how do they behave, the mechanics of the materials. And I I worked on steel,
Mhm.
aluminum,
So it's
and
like stress strain
concrete.
behavior and their
Yes, exactly.
fracture characteristics and stuff like that.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So I worked on these three materials: concrete, steel, and aluminum.
Mhm.
But when I was applying for all the, so this was my background. But when I applied and got the offers, most of the universities didn't assign me an advisor. They were like, "You
Mhm.
should come here. You should first do 1 year of coursework. Try to find the best match for you,
Mhm.
and if any advisor picks you up, you can start working with him or her. Otherwise, uh, you have to you can do PhD,
Mhm.
but you might not get funding. So that
Ah.
was a big problem.
Yeah,
So
because funding is generally lab oriented, right? So you have to be a
yes,
part of the lab and
yes. So I wanted to to have like a sure shot funding
Mhm.
situation there, because I I I, I don't think any person will want to
Mhm.
uh, fu- fund their whole PhD because it's really
But
expensive.
particularly in science disciplines, you have to have lots of funding to be able to
Yes,
do research actually. So
yes. So I wanted a sure shot funding opportunity. Plus, I also wanted to know my advisor and the field that I'm going to work on.
mhm.
And actually, this was so I other universities that I got offer from, uh, they either did not tell me about my potential advisor or funding
Mhm.
opportunities. Other position that I other university that I got offer from, and they told me these two stuff, was University of Tokyo,
Mhm.
and that was a very lucrative option because they kind of promised to give PhD in just 3 years.
Mhm.
So that was something. But I actually wanted to be in an English speaking country.
Mm, I see.
Plus, I saw a lot of people after doing PhD, they kind of want to do a postdoc in US. So I
Mm.
thought that it will be easier if I do PhD in US, and then if I want, I can easily get
Because
a
you will be
postdoc.
already be familiar with the research atmosphere in the US and also the
Yes,
cultures.
yes. Also, I actually had seen the US culture
Mm.
for in
Yeah,
my
that's right.
last internship. So I didn't want to try something new. I wanted to go
Mhm.
for a sure short thing, and this was so it was just a matter of final
Yeah, personal choice and yeah.
personal choices. But yes, I actually didn't know about density function theory till the day I joined the lab. So
Mhm.
I just knew I was going to work on some pure science method.
Mhm.
And I was interested in chemistry, and it was an interesting subject for me
Mhm.
since class 11. So I wanted to do something, and I learned that I need to do some kind of coding. I need some
Mhm.
maths
Yeah,
and
that's
a
right.
little bit
Lots of
chemistry.
mathematics goes into computational chemistry, so I
Yes.
know that. Yeah.
So I was a little bit skeptical about that, but
Mhm.
it like if you start from basic and
Mhm.
if you take suitable courses, and if everyone helps you, like your advisor and lab mates, it becomes really easy. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's why it's not one reason why I chose this, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I finally ended up here based on my preferences.
Yeah, well, we don't use ourselves, but we collaborate with DFT people to validate our experimental evidence and to understand more about surface phenomenon and the mechanics and mechanisms and pathways of, especially nowadays, I'm doing like catalysis research, so we are actively collaborating to figure out the thermodynamics and the activation barriers for the reactions, and we regularly use DFT, so hopefully we can collaborate sometime in the future. Anyway, so it's good
Sure,
to
sure.
know. Yeah, so we are closing in towards this session. I wanted to know about your perspective on academia versus industry. It's a big debate and also a very big topic. So how do you see people around you in the US or particularly in your research area? Do they prefer to go into the industry or they prefer to go the academic route? What is your take on
So in my lab, most of them have gone to academia,
it? Mm,
but the thing is, our work is mostly theoretical,
yes,
and there is not much application for industry to
mm,
hire us. So
I see.
that's why I don't think anyone in our field actually
Mm,
has a kind of job in exactly
industry.
industry.
Mm,
But people usually go to work in national labs.
mm,
It is also a research position, but you don't have to teach there.
mm.
It's
Yeah,
kind of a
it's.
postdoc position.
Mm, I
So
understand.
people usually do that. But yeah, I'm not very sure if I know anyone in this field who
Mhm.
actually goes to industry.
Yeah,
So
because in computational chemistry research, it's more like finding the fundamentals of new molecules or new kind of interactions and stuff like that. So it's more a research, what to say, like core science research oriented than a pure
yes,
direct application based in industry.
yes.
Uh, yeah, so thanks for the intriguing insight. And so I'd like to end our discussion now because we are already on the 30 minutes mark. But anyways, so do you have any final words for people coming to the US or people entering research, or would you like to share some experiences, or what is your final word for this session?
So I just want to encourage people who want to come into research that they should not, because there is this thing going on in
Mhm.
research field that people always have imposter syndrome. They don't think they are capable of doing,
Ah,
and
yeah.
all these keywords sounds really uh, difficult to understand. Like all the words that you said, energy barrier, thermodynamics, all these words, they sound really
Yes.
scary, but if they actually come and see what people actually work on, they are not that
Mhm.
difficult stuff. And the best thing about being in research is you have to deal with new problem every day. So
Yeah, that's right.
it's not like a boring life as compared to industry, where you are just trying to
Yeah, where
go up
it's
corporate
somewhat
ladder.
redundant. Yeah.
Yes,
Here you can actually have fresh problems and you can brainstorm every now and then. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what exciting about research.
Yes. Yes.
And also you get to solve these societal problems and develop new tech for the future. So it's for me it's quite fulfilling, and I would recommend anyone who is like intrigued with science and wants to pursue, they should go ahead if they have the calling inside them. And yeah, so with proper training and supervision, I think most people get into research quite well and adapt to it.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Anyway, so Arpit, thank you very much for the session and for your time, and I really appreciate it. And I hope our listeners got to learn new things from you. So, yeah,
Thank you for having me. Yes.
yes.
So it was a nice experience.
Mm. So, thanks very much for the time, and hope we continue to be in communication. And hope I can get you on the podcast sometime in the future as well.
Definitely. Yes.
Yes.
I'll love to join again.
So, happy 4th of July, and have a good time.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Take care. Thanks for your time, man. Mm.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. Uh, Tune in to the ISRK YouTube channel for more videos. I'll see you soon. Thank you.